Avidyne is the pilot-centric innovator. We can make anything. That's the easy part, if you can believe it. The hard part is figuring out what we can do to make flying easier, safer, more accessible, using our capabilities of innovation and engineering, but really doing it from a pilot-centric point of view. Good morning. I'm Dan Schwinn, the president of Avidyne, and we're here this morning to talk about our announcement of the Vantage line of flight displays, a completely new line of products from Avidyne. We've been working on these for years, and we're really happy today to be able to show you on this webinar and show you next week at Oshkosh what we've been doing. The Vantage line of flight displays will be a complete line of large screen displays for lots of different applications in general aviation aircraft. These are designed for retrofit and forward fit in GA aircraft, and the Vantage core technology, which is our third generation platform, will also be the basis for Avidyne's products in advanced air mobility applications. So today, I'm going to take you through some of the features and some of the things that these displays will do, and I'm also going to talk a lot about our first application for the Vantage displays, which is in the Cirrus aircraft that have the first generation Avidyne Integra displays. So these displays, the first certification of the Vantage displays will be 12-inch PFD and MFD in the Cirrus aircraft, which you can see here on the screen. And it'll be certified with the Avidyne IFD navigators and the DFC-90 autopilot. These are 12-inch screens, so they're larger than the 10-inch screens that were their predecessors. One of the unique things about a Cirrus that we're going to take advantage of here is that it's one of the few aircraft in which there are two large screens right in front of the pilot, as well as a radio stack. This is made possible by the fact that there's a side stick controller and by the console mount for the radios. It gives us a fairly unique situation where we can have two displays with their dedicated functionality, and we can engineer them in such a fashion to maximize the benefit of it. So while the Vantage displays, the product line will have lots of different applications, what we're going to talk about today is designed specifically for the Cirrus and other aircraft that can take two large screens in front of you. So what is a Vantage? It consists of 12-inch diagonal displays, XGA, that's 2-inch larger in diagonal than the predecessor, and it's about 60% more pixels because they're XGA displays. And they are multi-touch screens. These use the Avidyne hybrid touch interface, where we have buttons and knobs that can be used to control all the functions, but you can also control all the functions using the touch screen. This is something that we've had in our IFD line of products, and it's being inherited into the Vantage. One of the big advantages of the Vantage over its predecessor is that both screens have attitude and reference systems in it. So you gain the redundancy of having dual sensors as well as dual displays for your primary flight instrumentation. And I'll talk about that some more in a minute. The systems have as a baseline synthetic vision and 3D processing. So you can see in this picture, there's 3D synthetic vision all over the place here, and you will see more pictures of that. The PFD is a dedicated display just for primary flight functionality, and we'll go through that in a little bit more detail. On the right side, you see the multifunction display, and it has a number of different functions, including some reversionary modes that we haven't had previously. It inherits the page and tab interface that our IFD products have had. And since the system is going to be certified with the IFDs, you'll continue to manage your radios and your flight planning and flight plan entry on the IFDs, and you'll have full MFD reversionary modes on the IFDs because they already have that. The Vantage flight displays in the Cirrus are going to be tightly integrated with the DFC 90 autopilot, which is already installed in a large number of Cirrus. It's been a very popular upgrade since we introduced it in 2010. Now, to see what these displays look at in terms of what the fit is, you'll notice from these drawings that these displays are much shallower than their predecessors, and therefore they're going to be somewhat lighter. So when you upgrade a Cirrus to Vantage, it will actually save you a little bit of weight, despite the fact that it's larger. Since it's larger and the display configuration is a bit different, it'll require a new instrument panel. And we're going to design that instrument panel so that when you go to have the Vantage installed, you can customize it how you like, but the basic panel will be something that's already been designed for you. As I mentioned, synthetic vision is a baseline, and this will be a full line of displays, all of which will be large. We're not planning any smaller ones, but we do plan a full line of large screen displays for different applications. A typical setup for getting started flying would be to have your PFD showing the PFD, and then on the right side on your MFD you have your map. So what you see on your PFD here is a egocentric 3D view of synthetic vision. So it's got not only the terrain, but it's also got traffic and obstacles. You can see in this case that the terrain alerting and warning system is coming into play because you see the yellow and red highlights based on altitude. While the PFD has its standard view is synthetic vision, it does have the ability to be switched into a standard blue over brown and a black background HSI that you may want to use for training or other purposes. Since it's hybrid touch, you can use the knobs to control your heading and altitude bugs, or you can drag those bugs around on the screen using your finger. You can also zoom the synthetic vision field of regard using a pinch and zoom capability. On the MFD, what you see here is a map with engine instruments and other data around the outside. And again, in this case, some of the terrain has been highlighted because of your proximity to terrain. You'll have your overlaid ADS-B traffic and weather, your configurable data blocks, and your engine instruments will be the same as whatever your Cirrus used to have on it. In this case, this is an aircraft that had primary engine instruments on the display, so you see the engine instruments are displayed both on the PFD and on the MFD. One of the things I'd like to mention at this point is that these systems, as they go into the Cirrus, are designed to reuse a great deal of the existing equipment. So the magnetometer that was installed at the factory can be reused with these. Whatever engine instrumentation you have will be supported. There's quite a number of different engine configurations in a Cirrus. They're all supported. No new engine interface hardware is required. Whatever weather data link you may have XM weather, or you may have ADS-B weather, both supported. You may have Skywatch traffic, ADS-B traffic, those are all supported. So we're trying to make this an installation that reuses a significant amount of the equipment that you may have on your Cirrus. So this is an example of the Vantage with its engine instrument display up, and this is going to be very familiar to people who have the first generation Integra. It's got the same fuel entry, it's got the same lean finding algorithm, the same display of the temperature, EGT and CHT temperatures. In fact, the whole system is designed to be a very, very easy transition from the first generation system. While it's much more colorful and higher resolution and it runs faster and all those kinds of things, the controls are very similar. So the training world in Cirrus, which has been so successful in improving the safety, will not have to learn much in the way of new capability to use the Vantage to its full, use the full features of the Vantage. Here's an example of the MFD with a chart on it. The chart is geo-referenced. It's got the aircraft on it. It's got the flight plan on it. you can also use a new split screen mode on the MFD. And we have this, what we're showing here is the map with a display of the flight plan, which of course is synchronized with your IFDs and perhaps with your iPad application. There's also split screen views that show nearest or info pages. Now, one of the key features of the Vantage is that it now adds a reversionary capability where in the case of the loss of a PFD, all the PFD functionality in the exact same format with the exact same control functionality can be switched over onto the MFD. It's also retains its operation with the autopilot, so the autopilot continues to work here. And so should you have a failure of the PFD, you can go right over and look at it on your MFD, and you can use your IFDs as your display of all your other weather data. However, we also have a split screen capability here. So you can have your PFD in a map or your PFD in a chart, giving you some options. Now these displays with the PFD on the MFD are always available, and all of the other MFD display formats are also available at all times. So this is the Vantage first certification on a Cirrus, large 12-inch displays. It will require a new instrument panel, but they're not that much bigger than the existing displays. There's 3D synthetic vision on all different systems. You get the benefits of a dual AHRS and dual PFD display. And it's compatible with all the configurations of Cirrus engine instruments and engines and much of the equipment that you had. The system comes sort of in one configuration. There aren't any options. There isn't anything extra to buy. There's the two screens come as a set. They're certified initially with any pair of IFDs you might have and a DFC 90. We're going to be demonstrating this at Oshkosh. I hope you'll come and see us. But in the meantime, I want to show you this video narrated by Tom Harper where you can see the system in action.
Vantage is Avidyne's new flight display systems designed for forward fit and retrofit applications. Vantage features dual 12-inch diagonal XGA displays that provide significant size, brightness, and processor performance improvements over legacy systems while retaining the ease of use that is synonymous with the Avidyne brand. Vantage includes 3D synthetic vision display of nearby terrain, traffic, obstacles, airports, and flight plan overlay, plus a hybrid touch user interface that allows pilots to control the system with touchscreen and dedicated knobs and buttons. The Vantage PFD will be very familiar to current Integra owners in terms of ease of use and methods of operation, with a minimal transition learning curve. The Vantage MFD provides full and split screen displays of maps and flight plans, engine instruments, Jeppesen approach charts and airport diagrams, plus full reversionary capability with dual attitude reference sensors that are tightly coupled with the DFC 90 autopilot for fail-safe, truly redundant operation. Avidyne Vantage product line will include a wide range of displays and levels of functionality with certification across a wide range of aircraft. Vantage provides pilots with an uncluttered interface and a beautiful design with powerful capabilities that dramatically enhance situational awareness and make flying safer and more enjoyable.
Thank you for joining us today for our introduction of the Avidyne Vantage flight displays. I hope if you happen to be at Oshkosh, you'll come to see us at our booth where we'll have some of these systems and you can get your hands on them. And however, you can also see them on our website at avidyne.com/vantage. So enjoy the rest of your day.